Good evening and welcome. This is Glow with Mary, the show where we come together to share, to learn, and to equip each other to live the life we love. Now, before we go on with today's show, there are a couple of things I want to talk about. One of them is the fact that few people have asked me whether this show is only for women. It's for everybody. Men, women, children, teenagers, and as time goes on, you'll see various people on the show as deemed fit. In fact, we've got some awesome lineup of wonderful men who will be coming on the show later. And talking about men, one of the things that we'll be addressing in the coming weeks is prostate. Everything to do with prostate, what it is, cancer of the prostate, how to take care of it, talk about the myth of it, the hereditary part of it. And we've got healthcare practitioners, professionals from across London and the UK even, that will be coming in to share with us. So feel free to join us live. The numbers will be on the screen. You can tweet at Glowing Future, join the Facebook group timeline, or the Glow with Mary group. Now, on today's show with me, I've got in the studio Dion Johnson. Welcome, Dion.
Oh, lovely to be here with you, Mary.
And Andrea. Nice to have you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. This evening, we're going to be addressing another sizzling topic, which is dropping the mask so we can go on to live the life we love. And being able to live the life we love means we've got to start loving ourselves. How do we do that? Right. In this show, as it goes on, we will recognize what masks are, what effect they can have, and how to cope with life rather than put on a mask and pretend life is not happening. So, I'm going to start with you, Dion. Can you please tell us what kind of masks we tend to put on in our lives?
Oh, well, before we talk about what masks are, I think it's really important to acknowledge that there is a massive movement happening with women across the globe, where women are realizing that there's a purpose for us in the world, that we have to take our place. And the process of taking our place is a scary and a daunting one. Yeah. The frameworks that our marketplace are built around are quite masculine frameworks. So for a woman to find herself stepping into that and navigating her way through that and up through the systems of that, there is something required of us women. We need to take these steps because the evidence shows that when women take their place, everything gets better. Yeah. The world is a better place. Yeah. The economy is better, policies are better, health is better, the poor are well taken care of, the needy are well taken care of. When women lead, these are the consequences for women taking their place. Yeah. So we therefore, I in particular, am very interested in supporting women to navigate that process into finding out who she is, why she's here, and what it is she has to contribute. And that journey often involves masks.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you see, that is very important. And it's interesting because last week we sat here and we were discussing whether we can have it all. And one of the issues that we raised and addressed was the fact that to be able to have it all, on personal terms, you have to go through some processes.
Yeah.
And one of the things that stops women in their track is what you just mentioned about the fact that you have to navigate and you have to find your place and then reach a comfortable place where, you are at peace with yourself. Thank you very much. Andrea, you go.
For me, I think for a lot of women, I believe that we do so much, where we're just spread across in terms of function. A lot of people, where we have children, some who don't have children, have aged parents who they're not nourishing. You have children that you're nurturing. You have career. You have a business on the side. You have so many things. So much that, like Dion said, there's so many things to navigate. And that obviously, not that it becomes a problem, but trying to find the balance is such an issue that automatically you find yourself putting on a mask just so that you can keep going, just so that you can keep, navigating one step at a time, trying to fulfill your functions, all the things that you have to do. Remember this, remember to do that. The business, the workplace, some people, they're leaders in church. We're just spread across everywhere. And for me, it's important that we learn to, remember that our needs are also valid.
Yes, yes.
So that's the important thing about masks, is that, well, my definition of masks, anything that we utilize, anything that we put on that will block or hide the true expression of who we are as women or as leaders or as change makers. So the whole that could be anything. It could be it could be physical masks, like people wear physical masks. I wore a physical mask for many years. It can be attitudes, so things like finger pointing. There are people who are avid blamers. They blame so that they kind of deflect any attention from themselves. Anything that hides who you really are or what you are really about, that's what I call a mask. And the reason that we wear masks often is what Andrea was talking about, is about how we feel about ourselves. So masks we use either consciously or unconsciously to stop ourselves being seen, which is a real dilemma, because I think to be feminine is intrinsically linked with a need to be seen and to be understood and to be really valued for who we really are. Yet for so many of us it's intrinsic to also hide and to not be seen because of what we think about the true me.
I think for me, it can be like a mountain. You put it there in front of you. Like most of the time it's not physical, is it? It's something that you put there in front of you. And sometimes it can stop you from going up or from moving on from where you're at. And like you rightly said, it might be an attitude or it might be a mindset. And when it's a mindset, then it becomes a problem because it would take, I don't know what, to change that mindset, especially if it's embedded in, your life journey, for instance.
I think it becomes a problem, but it's not easy to identify. I think that's really important to mention. So my experience of masks, both personally and professionally, is that hiding who we really are, a failure to be truly, authentically expressive, creates symptoms in our life. It creates hurt, it creates angst, tension. And oftentimes we associate that angst and tension with other things. We don't know it's because we're hiding or because we're playing small or because we're hidden. We don't know that. We think it's our boss or all the things that we're juggling or motherhood or our marriage or the lack of one. So we point to all of the things that we think it could be, and women talk about the tension as though it's a normal part of being a woman.
Exactly, yeah.
And really oblivious to the fact that it's being caused by a conflict between the part of us that wants to be seen, expressed, fully visible, fully out there, and fully expressive of who we really are, and the fear of that very same thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Sometimes people go through life without realizing they are wearing a mask.
Yeah, it's emotional, a lot of it, because like you rightly said, it's not physical. And Dion mentioned the reason why a lot of women put on masks is because there's a fear of judgment.
Yeah.
You know, we're afraid of what people would say. You know, so we have this, and we have other fears as well. So the masks are put on so that we can protect ourselves. So we're putting it on, even though it might be visible to people.
Yeah.
It might not be visible to people, but you're putting it on because you're trying to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and it also prevents freedom of expression. You know, so you're not able to be who you really are.
Yeah.
You know, because you're constantly trying to, you know, not want people to see what it is you've been through. Because we put on this mask for various reasons.
Yeah.
It's interesting you should mention that, because I was just going to ask if it's to do with not wanting to acknowledge what's going on, like a failure, disappointment, kind of denial.
So I don't think it's as conscious as that. I think that the revelation of whether you're wearing a mask or not, the revelation of whether you're truly expressing who you are or not, whether you know who you are or not, it is a process. It's revealed through inquiry, should you choose to take that inquiry. And the reasons that women choose to take that inquiry is because something's not working in life.
Okay.
So you know, for many, like for me, life invited me one week in 2009. Life knocked at my door until I paid attention. And life said to me, I want to tell you something. I want to show you something that will be beneficial in your development as a woman and as a leader and as a change maker. And then it pointed straight to my face. In prayer, I was agitated because I knew that there was something really great in me, but I didn't know why it wasn't manifesting without me.
Okay.
I didn't understand, and I remember feeling that the tussle of that in 2009. And then I got to a week later on down in the year where my aunt died. And that was a really, you can imagine, an emotional time.
Yeah.
But in that same week or two when my aunt died, a series of events happened that caused my heart to start to ache about my facial disfigurement that I was born with. For some reason, I couldn't understand why these children kept coming up to me and laughing at me and pointing at my face and jeering me. And I was born with a facial disfigurement, and at that point I was still wearing the artificial eye and the dark glasses that I'd been given to hide my facial flaws. I remember when I received these gifts, that was the beginning of what I call my life behind the mask, because I learned that I didn't show up anywhere as the true me. I didn't go anywhere without my coverings on. And so in this week after my aunt died, these children pointing at my face, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't pray, God, please take away these masks. I didn't know I was wearing them. But life led me to, I was crying out for why won't the greatness come? And life was saying, I want to talk about your face. I want to talk about your face. I want to talk about why are you covering up? I want to talk about why are you hiding? And so I've been on my own journey, realizing that learning about mask wearing and learning about how multifaceted and multi-layered it is, and how we wear masks in ways that we wouldn't even imagine. But for even people watching the show, wondering if they're wearing masks, everything that you're dealing with right now, you could almost write a list of things that you are dealing with right now, and that list will have encoded in it information to teach you about what's next on your development to the true you. And so it's about recognizing what's not working in your life and deciding to get help to begin to unpack it and see what kind of lessons and what kind of masks it wants to expose in your own life.
So as with everything else in life, it's important to first of all acknowledge that something is not right. Because like I said, sometimes we go through life without realizing that we're wearing it. Or realizing that this idea or this attitude or this act or this behavior have become a mask.
Yeah.
Something
Yes.
that you put on
Yes.
so that nobody comes near me.
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
seen as being fiery.
Yes.
I'm seen as being unapproachable.
Yes.
Or I'm to be respected and reckoned with. Whereas deep inside, you need help.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't carry on, but I cannot let people know that I cannot carry on.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that to be able to drop the mask, it's important to look inwards and see what needs to change.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to, I mean, like Dion shared her story. In my case, it was more of an emotional mask, because, growing up and with a non-resident dad meant that I didn't understand what it is to, really have a close relationship with my father.
Yeah.
And, that obviously developed into a mask of anger for me. So I realized that I would constantly get angry, over the slightest thing.
Yeah.
And I really never understood why and what was going on. And it was doing me a disservice more than it was helping me to be who I really wanted to be. So in 2003, I really started asking. I really started, prodding myself and looking inwards that why do I get angry at every little thing? It's like I just fly off the handle. Every little thing upsets me. And I could never understand what was going on for me. And then I really started probing myself and I really started praying. And then I realized that, there is an unresolved issue. There was a root of rejection that I haven't really dealt with. Because growing up where, in Africa where I grew up, you don't talk about these things. No. If your dad is not there and that's it, that's okay. You can
make
live
up
with
a story.
Oh, yeah, you can.
To,
Absolutely.
you make up
you can make up a story and stuff like
The
that.
important thing is what it said, what the incident. And I've worked with many women and I hear plenty of stories. Sometimes it's father gone, grandmother didn't like you, this, that, the other. I was born with a facial disfigurement, all kinds of different stories. The important thing is what it came to mean about me. What I concluded, so this happened, so that must mean this about me. And that big fat dirty lie, the BFDL I call it, is what causes us to want to hide. And we don't want anyone to see that flaw, that thing. My journey after my aunt died helped me to understand that what I was thinking about myself was, 1, I was ugly, 2, that I was unlovable, and 3, it's not safe to have to let people too close because they will see that.
Thank you, Dion. We'll come back to you in a minute. I believe we have a caller on the line. Hello, who's there?
It's Tokwe here.
Tokwe, hi.
Hello.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kent.
Oh, great. Yeah, nice to have you on. Yeah.
Thank you. So I just thought I should contribute a little to the show.
Yeah, go on, Tope.
Okay, so we're talking about masks, and I was discussing masks on my. And, I suggested in my write-up and also on your page that some of us don't just wear a mask, we actually wear full body armor. You know the kind of people that people look at and say, oh, they're very strong. The reason they appear strong is because they're wearing that armor. They're trying to be strong for other people because they know that if all their emotions hang out, they might lose some people or lose the confidence that people have in their own strength. So we wear masks. We all wear masks. I think most people wear masks at some point in their life for a reason, for a season. I agree with your guest that, you need to show your authentic self. You need to ditch the mask and just be yourself, because being yourself could actually encourage other people to be themselves around you.
Yes.
Because they have a tendency to look at one another and think, oh, they're beautiful, their life must be perfect. Whereas not really. You don't know what they deal with at home,
It's true
in
that.
their private closet, So it's really good to love yourself and also use that as a yardstick to love others and allow others to be free around you by dropping the mask.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tope. Thanks a lot. That's very useful conversation, and it's interesting. That brings me to my next question or my next perception. Are there good masks and bad masks? Because from what Tope has described, if I want to actually analyze it, I do that all the time. I used to wear the other mask as well. I'm going to share that later on. And it's interesting, the way I was wearing it, I didn't realize it's turned to a mask because it was something that I loved doing ordinarily. But then, like we've been discussing, I found myself in a situation that it then became a mask. Mm-hmm. Because I see it as coping mechanism, but it wasn't actually. So in thinking about good and bad mask, when you have some days when you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to talk to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get a call from a friend, family, or colleague, and they need you. At that point in time, you will get up, you go out and be that help for them. Mm-hmm. At that point in time, you are wearing a kind of mask, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that the issue with good mask, bad mask, I don't think I'm suggesting that you just let everything hang out. Okay, you don't have any boundaries and anything is public fodder. That's not what I'm suggesting. A mask is something that will block your true expression as a woman and as a leader, as a change maker. And the way that it shows up is that if you say you are working and you have a hunch or you have an idea about why this isn't working and you feel that you can't put your hand up and say that, you can't speak out, that mask is blocking the impact of the mission. That mask, that inability to express yourself is causing an issue. I've met women who can't go on, can't manage all that she's got on her plate, but she continues to do it with a smile on her face. This is a mask that is going to block your ability to make the authentic impact that you wanted to.
I think we've got another caller on the phone. Okay, we'll come back to them. Yeah, so, yeah, you're right, because if you cannot cope and you give the world an impression that you're doing well, then the tendency would be that
question would be why?
nobody will come to help you.
The question would be why. So it will always come back to what that means for yourself.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Who's on the line?
Hello?
Hello?
This is Toki. Hello?
Hi, Toki. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ireland.
Oh, hi. Wow.
Hi.
Yes, go on.
I just want to say something on Glow with Mary.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we're listening.
All right, okay. I was going to ask if hello?
Hello, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. All right. I just wanted to say hello to the speakers, Andrea and Dion. Hi, Mary. It seems like I'm echoing.
Well,
We can hear you.
All right.
Can you turn your TV down?
All right, I will turn it down because I'm...
We're actually
All
live.
right, I wanted to talk about the different masks, and I wanted to also emphasize that it's not just a person that hides behind a mask. It's also what we project, because I find that not just people, but personally, and people I've met as well, is that people tend to use whatever is going on in their homes and instead of being truthful about what's happening, they put on this mask, and then they don't let people know what goes on, and people can't help because people hide behind a facade. So how do you help if someone doesn't show they're hurting, or there's something going on in their homes or in their lives or at work? How do you break that barrier? How do you show that it's okay for, even if the person looks strong on the outside, because most times it's true what Dion said. People use that, and the last speaker on the phone also said an armor as well. But how do you break that barrier? How do you open, show that a door is open for people to be able to, sort of let down that guard or let down that mask and say, okay, this is really what is going on?
Can I just answer?
Yeah.
Well, I think that it's a really hard call, because if you don't want people to know what's going on in your life, it's hard for you to reach out for help. I think, contrary to popular belief, people actually think it's not a sign of strength to ask for help, but it's actually a sign of strength to say, you know what, I'm having problems in this area, and I could do with talking to someone. So in answer to your question, it's hard to break the barrier of someone who does not want you to know their business. Let's put it that way. They don't want to share their business. They're not comfortable.
Secrecy is a mask.
Yeah, like Dion said, secrecy is a mask, and it's really hard to reach out to those people. So it's a function of they have to get to the place where they don't want to hide anymore, and where they actually drop the mask, and that's when help actually comes their way.
And I think another way to help is, if it's observed that they need help, you can just sort of nudge and say, you know what, we go through different things at different times, and if you ever want to talk, I'm here. They might say, oh, no, nothing to talk about. But you'll be surprised that 1 week, 2 weeks down the line, they probably call you or start a conversation. Or sometimes, I believe people ask in a roundabout way.
Yes.
Because they don't want you to know. They might come to you that, oh, I've got this friend, or somebody told me this, whereas that is for them. So the way that I believe is, leave an open door and let them know that help is there if they need it.
I'm just of the thinking that life, God, of the Creator, is always on the case, always at the business of helping you to discover who you really are, why you're here, and what you're here to do. So the clues will be loud. Sometimes when there's somebody when you are wearing masks, they have to go if you are going to be truly expressed in the world. And so you don't have to try and find your mask. Your mask will be pointed out to you by life. Your masks will knock on your door, because you will feel the block in your life. I believe, therefore, that we should let life lead. That's my number one tip, is just be aware, be awake of what is happening in your day, what you're lying awake thinking about at night, the kind of struggles that you're regularly having. These are clues, and they are life knocking, saying, hey, I want to deal with you. The second thing that I would say is that it's really important to be on a development journey. So oftentimes women are all about helping everybody else and serving that one, coping there, leading that. And, it's really important that you see yourself as your needs as important as everybody else's. So that you build in development of yourself, studying who you are, why you're here. That is part of your important to-do list. That you factor in time for you. You factor in time to study you, to work on your issues, to develop your skills, to work on yourself. Because it's in this process of self-development that you become self-aware, and masks will have to show up. BFDLs, big fat dirty lies that you're believing about yourself will have to show up. You know, this is not something that you have to struggle and strive with. This is about learning how to live a life of development, yield to the processes of life. Because life, God is all about revealing to you who you are and why you're here. It's only a matter of listening and opening your eyes and saying, okay, let me go through this process.
Yeah. Is still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Does that
I just wanted to
answer
ask
your
one
question to some?
Yes, it does, but I want to know if it is a cultural thing.
No,
Or
I
is
don't
it
think it's a
a
cultural
gender
thing. I
thing,
tell you,
or-
I work with women,
Yes.
black women, white women, Asian women. I spent a couple of days just recently in Basingstoke. I was surrounded with women from the Middle East, and that's a growing interest of mine. I've worked with rich people, poor people. My clients are senior leaders. I also work with people who are unemployed, long-term unemployed, all kinds of women. And for the last 25 years, that's my work is about supporting women. And I can honestly say that when you go behind masks, it's the same thoughts. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm ugly. I'm unlovable. I'm not adequate. I'm inadequate. And you know, it's not cultural. I found it's a human condition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I have to buttress
okay,
that.
okay.
The fact that when Toki said, is it cultural? It cuts across culture. And because I do have people that I work with who are not from my side of the, where I come from, and the issues are the same. The issues are definitely the same. There is something, they're not to say they're hiding something, but there is a mask. And whether or not it has to do with their culture, some has to do with culture, but across the board, I think generally the condition is the same.
Yeah.
Everybody has something that, they're hiding, and they don't want the whole world to know. And going back to answer your question earlier, what I find is when you start talking to people, if you find it difficult that they're not coming through to tell about their situation, and you know that they have issues that you could help them with, then you can share a little bit about yourself. I find that works like magic for me.
Yeah.
If I meet people for the first time or whatever, and I suspect that maybe something is not quite right, I would just share a little story about myself. And before you know it, like Mary said, they're off. And then they just start doing the talking, and they come up with it. And because they see that you can identify with the problem. That is the first thing. When people don't feel that you can identify, then they don't want to share their story because they feel that you're going to judge the situation, and they're not ready for people to do that.
Yes, that's
True.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
excited by what you're saying, and one of the things that I find really works with discovering your masks and getting rid of them, dropping them, is to have a mission. There's nothing like a mission in life. Remember I told you that I was crying out, like I wanted to serve more people. I wanted to have more impact, and something was blocking it. Something invisible was in the way, blocking it. I didn't know it was masked. I didn't know I was hiding. I didn't know I was playing small, but it was a desire to make a difference that brought me to this place in my journey.
Yeah. There's somebody else on the line. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Good evening. Who's that?
Oh, it's Tara again. My call got dropped earlier.
Okay.
So I just wanted to add a little bit to the questions that the lady, I think Toki from Dublin,
Yes.
was just asking a few moments ago.
Yes.
And it's just to say that you mentioned, you alluded to it already in the beginning, that it's all about mindset. So I thought I would just throw these into the mix that really and truly for me, will come to a place in your life where you'll begin to wonder whether the math is working for you or it's working against you. Now, if you find that the mask is beginning to detract from your life in any way, or it's preventing you, inhibiting you living the life you love, the life you deserve, the life you have earned, then it's time to start looking into why you have the mask. How long you've had it, but do you really still need it? You need to be your authentic self. It's because you only have one shot in life, and you don't want the mask to steal that from you. You see, that's all about the mindset and whether the mask stand in your way.
Yeah, so it's about looking into where you're at and where you're hoping to get to, and how whatever kind of mask it is.
I think we've got to acknowledge that it is really scary stuff. With showing up. Showing up is really a scary deal. Yeah. And I remember one of the callers earlier on was saying you just need to put it down, you just need to drop it. Well, it's not easy when it's unconscious, when you don't know that you're covering up. It's not easy. And even when you find out that you are hiding, when you are playing small, the alternative feels like a huge mountain. I remember when life asked me to show up without my facial masks. And I remember being on my knees, and I was praying at the time, and I remember life saying to me, Dion, why are you hiding? Why are you playing small? Why are you covering up? And I remember thinking that I'm going to have to find a way to show up in my life for real. I'm going to have to find a way to show up without my mask. I'm going to have to find a way to be who I really am in the world. And I had no clue how to do that. I was very scared. It seemed almost ludicrous. I had lived my life hidden. And so it was a process of learning how to show up. First without my physical mask, but also as the layers started to come off of my life, I've realized that it's the same process of learning how to show up, learning how to be who you really are, no matter where you are or who you are with or what you're doing.
Yeah. And I think one of the important things to note, like I said, is exactly what this mask is doing to us.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned something about playing small. Sometimes, unintentionally, these masks are put on to show us as being strong and untouchable. But the effect it's having on our lives actually is limiting us.
Yes, definitely.
Limiting our potential and stopping us from not only being our authentic self, but realizing our full potential.
Yeah,
I believe one of the messages we want to get across to our viewers is to actually do an internal search and see if there's any area of life, either pre-post-life events or incidents or life generally or past, where a certain mask has developed, and, seek help into dropping it and making a conscious effort to say, you know what, it's not easy, but I'm going to find ways of getting help to deal with it. So acknowledgement is the first step.
Yeah, and I don't think it will be finding ways to drop the mask. I think it will be finding ways to be who I am in my life right now. So be who I am in my relationship. So the first question that needs to be asked, if you want to show up for real, you need to ask, who am I?
Yeah.
Who is the real me? And who is she? What is she about? What does she want? What does she need? And so those questions will bring the insight as to who, and then it's about a decision, a firm decision that when I go to work tomorrow, I will be her. When I have a conversation with my boss, I will be her. When I relate to my husband about what's going on in the family, I will be her. And that we have to bring it down to the issues that we are dealing with today. Who am I takes thinking. I teach my clients that there is truth about you. What God said about you is true. And then there's facts about you, the things that you can do well, the things that you like, the things that you value, the things that you need. Those are important parts of who we are. Many women cannot tell you what they like. Many women cannot tell you what they need.
That's right.
Many women cannot tell you what they value. They know what everybody else needs and values. They don't know what they want. How can you show up as you if you have no clue who you are? And so I think that when we don't know who we are, when we don't know how to show up, it causes tension in our life. All you need to do is press into where the tension is and begin to ask, who am I being in that area of my life? and you'll see. Some women are very roaring, powerful, and going around, and they can manage it and can do battle by themselves. Because we've had to, we've got lots we're carrying. But my goodness, we are women too.
Yeah.
And unless we acknowledge
that. Of course, yeah.
So I've seen, the caller earlier on was right. I talk in my book about women covering their face with a mask, but also covering their chest and their heart, because they just can't afford to feel. They've got to fit, they've got to go to work, they've got to do daddy and mummy role. They've got to so they cover their heart and they cover their ass. You know, they don't want any trouble to drop at their door. They don't want to make any mistakes. They cover everything up. So we have women face covered, heart covered, ass covered, everything covered, and wondering why they can't feel.
Exactly.
And wondering why they can't touch the way they want to.
Yeah.
I believe that that women don't wake up and go, I want to get rid of my mask. They go, I want to be close with someone.
Yeah.
I want to make a difference in that area. I want to make an impact. I want to have a promotion. I want to do better than I'm doing now. And when women acknowledge that, that's the opening. Time to discover now what it is that's blocking you. And that's when masks are revealed.
Yeah. And then, you know, the next step then will be, okay, I'm here now. So what's now?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I call it slow thinking. So, and sometimes we think about, like, we're so fast that we can miss the important elements of what's going on in our lives. We can miss the inconsistency. So we can go to church on Sunday and say, I'm the head and not the tail, I'm above and not beneath. We're rhetorical. We can say things without thinking. And so a part of dropping the mask is about learning who you are slowly.
Yes.
It's about, what does that mean, I am the head and not the tail? What does it mean I'm more powerful than I think? What does it mean that greatness is within me? What does that mean? Because if we got to embrace that as our identity, we have to understand our identity.
Yeah.
As we begin to understand our identity, we can see the mismatch then.
Yes.
With,
and then
you know,
deal with
if
it.
I was with a client a couple of days ago, and she was telling me, I asked her, who are you? She told me I'm the head and I'm not the tail. She told me she's more powerful, she's tenacious, she's determined, she's a go-getter. And then we talked about the conversation that she had with her boss, where she got offended and angry and she felt like they were disadvantaging her. I said, what did you say to the boss? She said, nothing.
Okay.
So I say, on one hand, you say, I am
This and that.
And then here in the situation, you show up. When you look at how you should, as if you were watching it on a television screen, how would you describe who you were being with your boss? She said submissive. She said spineless. She said, you know, weak. So I said, but this does not match the list that you've just told me that you are. You see, I think we can say things very fast. It's important to be authentic. Just be your authentic self. But I think many people miss what that really means. It means that you slow it right down. You take one thing of who you are and you be her right here. And that's how we drop the mask.
Yeah. And in being her, we have somebody on the line again. Hello. Hello, who's there?
Hello, this is Toyin from Bromley.
Oh, hi, Toyin.
Hi, Toyin.
I'd like to say hello to Dion and also to my cousin-in-law, Andrea.
Hey.
I just thought I should contribute something to the program. I've listened to what Dion said, and I find that quite a number of people, or women especially, have to put on a mask. And what happens is that, as Dion said, most women are trying to do this, trying to be mommy and daddy, they have huge responsibilities. So they find that due to the heavy burdens they carry, it's necessary to put on a mask. And Mary, you did ask the question earlier whether there are good masks and bad masks. And I would say that there are occasions where some masks are actually good and beneficial for the person and also for dependents as well. If, for instance, members of my family are upset, I may put on a mask to show that I'm strong, just so that that person doesn't crumble. Also, when finances are involved, you want to show that you're fine. I would say that that is a good mask. However, you find that a person who carries so much responsibilities does need a good support network and also has to be strong in faith. And I guess that is where you have to be true to yourself. So I think in such instances, it would be beneficial to that person to have people they can turn to. And then that enables them to have the opportunity to drop their mask, to cry if they need to, and to open up and unburden whatever is on their mind to others. So
I wonder if I could ask you a question.
Then they do need to drop. I accept they do need to drop the burden of the mask at some stage. So I accept that. But then I feel that some people put on this mask out of necessity. So that's my contribution, really.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Dion wants to ask you a question.
Yes.
I was just curious, about what would happen if somebody... well, there are two questions. You say you have to put on a mask to appear strong.
Yes.
So are you saying that you're not strong?
Perhaps to show that I'm strong to encourage others.
Sorry?
In a situation...
That may be the reason why. It may be that I'm strong, but then I don't want to crumble in front of others, just so that that person or whoever I'm encouraging does not crumble either.
Okay.
Because you think that when you describe crumbling, you mean cry?
Cry, fall apart, fall into despair, and
I think
so
what
on.
Tony is saying is there are times when the situation will arise that we cannot all break down at the same time.
Yes, I agree.
Somebody's
with
got to be there.
That's
Yes.
exactly
And it
what I'm
doesn't
saying.
mean that that person is not feeling the pain.
that. Yes.
But at that particular point in time,
Yeah.
we cannot all react the same way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
So
that.
you can be that person that will console, support, and make moves to make it, things all right for that time.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean when you get to your room, you won't
You're
do
not
your
going
own
to cry.
crying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But at that point in
Exactly.
time,
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I get it. I get what you're saying. Sometimes, you need... There's no time to fall on the floor because you've got to do this or go there or make that happen. I understand that. But I tell you, as you're going, you can cry. And I think the important thing is that you are honest about what you are doing. You're honest about how you are feeling. And I know it's seen as weakness, and that's the problem. That there's a voice saying, "You're so weak," crying. Now that voice there is the accuser voice. That's the voice that's lying to us. That's the voice that we need. That what we're believing. We're believing. Oh, I'm so weak, or I'm not enough, or I'm not strong enough, or I'm not good enough. I just think we have to be careful about what we're believing about ourselves. That's what masks do. They hide what we really think about ourselves. And so I'm suggesting. I know there are circumstances where we've got to do this when we feel like doing that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about identifying how you really feel about you, understanding who you really are, and being her with all of your might.
Yeah. They're two
and I think
different
one of
things.
these- those are
They're two
things.
different things.
And one of the things
Totally
that
different
will-
from being strong on behalf of other people and being true to yourself.
Yeah. And one of the things that I believe we're going to be concluding on tonight is letting people know it's okay to cry, it's okay to drop the ball, like Helen said last week. It's okay to miss it, it's okay to not make it. You pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start again.
It only is not okay if it's touching something that's saying, if it's threatening you to be exposed as something that you believe you are. So, the reason why making mistakes feels really bad to somebody who feels like they're a mess is because they feel like, well, if I make a mess, then everybody will see that I'm a mess. But if you believe that you're entitled to make a mistake, if you believe that you are beautiful, you are whole, you are strong, you are a woman, you are purposed, you are called, you are chosen, if you believe that about yourself, then mistakes come and go. They don't affect who you are. And that's what masks do. Masks hide big, fat, dirty thinking about who we think we are. And that's the issue that we have to hear tonight. We have to hear that tonight, and we have to find out what we truly feel about ourselves, because that's what we're hiding. I remember one time a girl called me, "You black girl." She was so mad, and she really wanted to hurt me. And she said, "You black girl." And it made me laugh because I think she was trying to hurt me. But because being a black girl is not a problem to me, it's funny. Yeah. But if being a black girl was a problem to me, her words would find something to hold on to. You see? So I think it boils down to how we are feeling about ourselves. And thoughts that say, I am not okay, I'm not enough, I'm inadequate, I'm weak, I'm rubbish, I'm a mess, I'm ugly, I'm unlovable. Those thoughts are lies from the pit of hell, and we need to know the truth, because that's the way that we become free to be ourselves.
Yeah, but the thing is, when people feel like that, they don't actually say that, they say the opposite.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, they say what they think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say what they think.
I mean, dropping the mask is about not dwelling on mistakes, not dwelling on weakness, being, true to ourselves. And once the mask is dropped, how then do we embrace this new me about, how do we then love ourselves? The new me that we just found.
Okay, well, I mean, once you're able to drop the mask, I suppose once you get to the point where you feel, you know what, I'm tired of being somebody else, and I just want to be who I am. I want people to see the real me. And it doesn't matter whether the real me crumbles or cries or whatever, I'm just myself. And the first steps is thinking about what you need. Like it's almost like saying, what do I need today? And how do I get what I need? And that's how you begin to build on your new self. So, peradventure, you've taken the mask off and you want to begin the journey of loving yourself and working one step at a time. The first step will be to actually, show yourself some compassion, as it were.
We have time for one more call.
Okay.
Hello, who's there? Hello?
We lost them.
Hello? Okay. All right. Yeah,
yeah, so it's a matter of, showing yourself compassion, thinking about what you actually need. It's a function of, okay, what do I really need? It's showing care for yourself, actually looking at yourself and thinking, what do I need? How do I get what I need for myself? Making time for yourself. Now the mask is off. Yeah. So it's not about being self-centered. It's about being self-aware. Yeah. It's about saying, okay, what do I need? How do I get what I need? How do I have my own needs met? How do I, connect with my own happiness?
So self-love, self-worth.
Yes, I mean, self-love has many branches.
Yeah, I'm sure we need
You have self-awareness.
We need another episode.
You have self-awareness, you have self-image, you have self-compassion, and those are all branches of self-love. But self-love itself is about caring for who you are. It's about, looking out for your own happiness.
Yeah, and part of it, I believe, is learning to say no.
Absolutely.
Because one of the masks that we put on might be wanting to be everything to everybody and not wanting to, step out of line or be seen as, So, and it's generally I believe as well that once you have that self-love, you can love other people in the way that they're supposed to be loved. Yes. I tell you, I think we're going to come back again, definitely. Okay. Every show that I've done, it's like, we're going to come back again. Thank you very much, Dion and Andrea, for joining us this evening. Please tell us a bit more about where we can find you.
Yeah, so my website is dionjohnson.com. I think it's going to come up on the screen. And I work with women in senior leadership who know that there's more to them, or that there's more that they need to show in their work and their life as women and leaders and change makers.
Andrea?
Okay. I work with women who are struggling with their self-worth or self-esteem or confidence. I help them to build their confidence using the principles of self-love. And my website is www.andreaonadeco.com. So feel free to check it out.
Well, we've come to the end of another amazing show, sizzling topic, which I'm sure will continue again, maybe address it this time from another angle. But just remember, look inside of you, search and see exactly what the mask is or are, because sometimes we wear more than one, and take the step to identify it, find yourself, take your time. The mask didn't happen overnight, so dealing with it may not happen overnight. And dropping the mask include not dwelling on past mistakes, errors, omission, or commission, but actually knowing that you can live the life you love. Until next time, take care of you and keep glowing. See you.
Badu Magazine, Africa's #1 magazine with the best entertainment in the UK. Essential information on business opportunities, latest happening in the entertainment scenes, student parties, house of worship conferences, and much more. For advert placement and business listings, we are equally your #1. Get your copy now at our website at badumagazine.com and various outlets in and around Nigeria, UK, USA, and Canada.
Magazine. Go and grab your copy now. Bedu ni hello. Bedu magazine. Bedu ni hello.